Caoimhghín Ó Caoláin, your reaction first of all to the statistics that have been released regarding suicide, and what does your party believe should be done?
Well, I have to say the statistics are truly shocking, and the Men's Health Forum have to be complimented on the exercise they've undertaken. They have highlighted once again the terrible toll that suicide is taking, the terrible pain that families and whole communities are suffering. And some 230 young teenagers and young adult males dying annually. That's the figure that shows now at this point in time. It is something that has to stir a reaction from government and from those who can actually make a difference. And we're calling, Sinn Féin are calling on governments on both sides of the border to embark on a determined and a coordinated approach, because we believe there needs to be an all-Ireland response to this suicide risk that is very real and ever-present. And we would hope that the commitment of the government here in this state in relation to mental health would be realised in this year. After all, significant sum of money that was allocated for mental health purposes last year was diverted into other aspects and areas of HSE need, and it simply is intolerable against this most tragic backdrop. So we will continue to work, as I do, with an all-party group representative of all politics and independent voices here on mental health issues, and suicide prevention has to be an absolute priority focus.
The report itself says there is no quick fix solution as such. It is a broad spectrum of solutions needed. How do you react to that in terms of the government may say, well, the funding this year isn't going to make a difference, so we need it in other areas?
Well, it will make a difference, and we have to recognise too that there was a degree of dilatoriness in relation to the appointment of a new director of the National Suicide Office. That position was only filled at the end of November. It had lain idle for a long and considerable period of time. The whole issue of suicide prevention has to be taken seriously, and I welcome the fact that the Men's Health Forum have identified a number of ways that efforts can be employed to try to distance people from the temptation, people who may have suicidal consideration. They may be, the ideology of it may present, and there are practical steps that can be taken, but there's no question that there is no panacea that will eliminate in all circumstances. If people have that intent that they may indeed carry out that action, we can only hope that by giving hope and by encouraging particularly young males to talk, to share their concerns, to engage with others, that's hugely important, because the greater number of young males don't. They bottle it up inside themselves and they don't take the essential step of sharing their concerns, their fears and their sense of hopelessness very often. And we would join the Men's Health Forum in encouraging every possible measure to give that strength to young males in particular.
Agus ceist bhain in Gaelic, could do waro faoin turas seo fáilsiú aniu ó híomh hen waro sna fear?
Well, tá sé fear tábhachtach go fad. Féach na torthaí san report, tá sé conan sé imní orm gan doubt agus bégan leis na rialtasaí an taobh seat in teoran agus san thuaisceart obair le céile chun torra wadníos fearr ná do torthaí atá ann san cóta seo.